Hi folks, Robin here with my first YouTube long video. Well, welcome to a talk today on beliefs. A long time ago I read an article about beliefs. I don't remember who wrote it, but I do remember that the author commented that we all believe in something, that we can't not believe, but we do have a choice over what it is we do believe. Reading that was a pivotal moment in, well, actually my whole life. I was going to say just my work, but really in my whole life. Before reading it, I hadn't given much thought to what it was I believed in, about anything. Religion, myself, my worth, my business, my progress, anything. But something about what the author said stuck with me. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Here it is, like, you mean I could actually choose to believe that I'm valuable? You mean I could make that choice to think, my friend forgot my birthday, but it wasn't about me. They didn't mean any malintent. They were just really busy. Maybe they were sick. I don't know. But it wasn't about me. What a concept, right? What is a belief? Well, it's a thought. It's an accepted statement, an acceptance about something that is true. And that acceptance about that truth leads to a narrative upon which we base our whole life script. So I tried a little experiment. I centered myself, did a little mindfulness-based exercise, and I quieted my mind. I dropped into my body, and I tried to see if I felt any different when I believed one thing over another. You know what? I did. When I held on to or attached to the thought that I'm not worthy, that I don't deserve a phone call, well, I felt sad, kind of alone, and I started hearing my own mind pepper me with thoughts like, you're not worth it, you don't have any friends, you're not a good friend, and so on. On the other hand, when I let myself hold on to the possibility that maybe my friend was sick, not a great thought, but it didn't have anything to do with me. When I believed that my friend wasn't wrapped up in trying to harm me, but maybe in something in their own life, I kind of felt okay. My body relaxed, and I was sort of neutral about the whole thing. That was a mind-blowing experience. If I could apply a technique to change how I felt, to be able to master my mind and feel better, well, maybe I could teach such a technique to my own clients. My clients being those who want to work with me to change how they feel about themselves and how they engage in their own world and feel more effective and more fulfilling. I shared my experience with folks that I worked with, and we had lots of conversations. One of them actually said with delight, well, go ahead, let's figure out what beliefs aren't suiting me and find some new ones. It became my new life campaign, and I began to explore anyone, talk to anyone, and research anyone or anything that did any work around changing your beliefs. I owe a lot to Byron Katie and thework.com and to Lori Brandt for her alignment strategy, for helping me discover and transform my own self-imposed limitations. So I'm going to start with a little experience. For a long time, I carried the belief that I had nothing to say. I don't know, maybe I heard it when I was little. Maybe I heard, oh, Robin's got nothing to say. Robin's a quiet child. Or perhaps I told myself that I had nothing to offer, that I couldn't relate to others. Maybe I felt like an outsider, or believed I was an outsider, rather. At one point, I worked on a team with clinicians, and every week we would meet to discuss treatment plans for our clients. I know I was good at my job, but when it came to talking in those meetings, I found it extremely difficult. Our lead in the team would often talk over me, interrupt me when I had something to share. At one time, or in time rather, I found myself freezing up in those meetings and being unable to talk. Colleagues were commenting, Robin, you don't seem like yourself in those meetings, but I just couldn't get past the thought or the belief that I had nothing to contribute. And every week I tried to tell myself that what I was doing was right, that I knew what to say, that I was confident in my work, that I was smart, that I had studied, that I had experience. Nothing changed. what I believed, and I'd still freeze up. I did persevere in other areas of my life, and I pushed myself to achieve and get farther and farther in work. But I believed that my successes outside of myself, I guess, would make me feel more worthy, would make me feel important. But you know what? Those accomplishments didn't change my narrative or my life script. They didn't change how I felt. Perhaps some of you can relate to similar effects of hoping that what we do and that some of our successes will make us feel better about ourselves. You see, our beliefs are so strong, so powerful, they can seem unyielding. And also, we as human beings aren't so keen on change. Don't believe me? Well, before I go on, if you've got a child in earshot, cover their ears, please, or pop in some earbuds. How many of us were told that Santa Claus was real? We didn't even need to celebrate Christmas to believe that. In fact, I believed in Santa Claus. We didn't celebrate Christmas, but until about the age of 8, I really thought that the guy in the red suit was real. Until I learned or was told that no, it's just my friend's father. I was devastated. See, it takes a lot to create a change in what we believe. It's not easy. We've got to really challenge ourselves, because whatever it is that we do believe, we look for evidence to support it. In my own personal example, remember I said that I would freeze up in those meetings? Well, that was absolute support to the belief that I had nothing to say and nothing to contribute. We as a people in society hold on to what we believe quite strongly. It takes a lot to identify a new and an alternative perspective, to create a new narrative and a script for ourselves. But I will tell you that throughout history, there are many examples of people who refuse to give up in the face of doubt, ridicule, and resistance. Take the American aviation pioneers Orville and Wilbur Wright. At the time that they were inventing, they faced a lot of negativity, kind of bad press, if you will, and extreme pushback from society and their own family. Common thought at the time supported the belief that humankind would never and should never be airborne. The common thought was more like, flight's the devil's work, and if you try to fly, you were a heretic. Well, the Wright brothers held firmly to their belief, and they practiced over and over again to show proof to others that humankind could someday fly, aided by a motor-driven flying machine we now call the airplane. Had the Wright brothers followed their beliefs, the beliefs that were held on to by others in society, we may never be able to leave on a jet plane. Thus, we'd never have the song written by Peter, Paul, and Mary. I share their story because I think it exemplifies the spirit of endurance based on a challenged and changed belief system that shows how, by perceiving the power of your own life, can help others in the face of their own resistance. We don't need to be prisoners of the past. The moment your mindset changes, you're actually creating a cause in the present, which will then affect your future. The key is putting an end to your own suffering. It's by identifying what beliefs are limiting you and being willing and determined to challenge them, create new and supporting narratives. Now, it's not easy to do, not at all. But that's what I've dedicated my whole life to doing, helping others free themselves up from their past and step in to their own bright futures. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care of yourselves and be well.